Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Nora, and I'm part of the Businessmap team. So this is one of our experts talk series where we have our partner Ben from Stellar Work. Hi, Ben. So Ben is an organizational analyst, and today we're going to discuss the very popular topic of AI and how it is changing our ways of work. So in Businessmap, we love sharing experience. We do love sharing knowledge. So we hope that we're going to do this today for our community. So Ben, thank you very much for joining. And can you just say a few words about yourself and what you do at Stellar Work?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to work with you guys. I started as an Agile coach, consultant, advisor. I still work at IT Agile as an Agile coach, consultant, and advisor. I also do trainings. But most of the time I found that doing transformations at organizations needs some type of analysis work. And while figuring out what tools are the best to do organizational analysis to find the weak points of the organization or to gain more momentum, more performance, more speed, whatever you're looking for, you end up with solutions that are not rooted in like methodologies like Kanban or Agile or OKRs. And then you dive into process optimization and you dive into different tools that help you get things done faster. So part of the solutions are introducing WIP limits, introducing Kanban boards, but part of the solution is also automation and the use of agentic networks or AI agents in order to get things done.
Yes, definitely. I agree. And I think every organization now is trying to implement AI in some way. It is another question if they do it the right way or they kind of just do it for the sake of it. So in your work with organizations and companies, what type of AI tools have you implemented most often? Would those be the ones that just generate content, or maybe you use AI for analysis? What would be that?
So first of all, I'm not an expert in the implementation because it's very contextual. So the implementation in a factory would be a lot of reinforcement learning and pattern recognition. I'm not the guy setting up the cameras and connecting them to the learning algorithm. So just that said, I can share some experiences that I had working with AI and implementing AI in different companies. So what we did at IT Agile, and I think that is true for most of the companies because we're still in the early ages where people need to play around and find out. So there's a lot of playfulness and not so much seriousness going on in the very moment. So what we did is within the business development side at IT Agile, we had the issue that we need to write offers and we need to work with tender offers, and that is lot of documentation. So what we start doing is we put in all the documents that the client send us, all the contracting documents that are publicly available, especially when we talk about tenders, and we put them into a custom GPT. That is like super basic. I know, like some of you guys will probably tune in and go like, well, I'm not listening a podcast about basics. However, that is how we sort of kickstarted all of that, because we saw that we could just chat with that and ask about deadlines and ask about different formats and types, ask him to make checklists, ask him to make roadmaps, and that really, really helped to smooth the process. Another point was that the offer generation itself, we try to put in a lot of effort so our clients really feel like we care for them and they find themselves in their context in the offer. So if you see the whole chain of events on such a sale, you would start with a phone call or a Teams call, and you could use the Whisper AI from that OpenAI provides, for example, to write down the transcript and to listen to the understanding of what the client wants and what your company is able to deliver. And that whisper transcription would be fed into a custom GPT that is programmed in a way, prompted in a way that it generates like, give me a small text about the client's context, give me a small text about the client's solutions, like what are they looking for, and then give them a small text about what we do, and also provide me a text as a mission briefing for my clients. And with the operating model that OpenAI released January this year, you're able to feed that directly into a Word document on your SharePoint or at a Google Doc. So we're feeding that into Google Docs, and our CRM, we're using Pipedrive, is like gathering the information from there and generating the input based on the CRM fields. So after we had the call, it really boils down to like 5 to 10 clicks, but then you have like the perfect thing and everything you need. So there is no back and forth needed. There is no different writing down different documents. There is almost no spell checking. There's like this final check where you need to go through the PDF that is generated in the end that sums it all up. But that really boosted the way we write offer and the way we do business development at IT Agile. And that's just one example. It's really like, before that we had like 5 people doing business development. Now we're just running with 2.5.
Okay, so half the people that were doing this.
And I don't really think that, like, because some of the people out there will think that AI is going to take your job. Unfortunately, I think it's not that easy. It's more like someone else using AI will be able to take your job, because they are able to build themselves a team of agents that work for them, instead of just having to do everything on their own.
Right. And also, I think it's quite interesting what you save time with AI, but also what you do with the time that you save. So I guess it's for company-wise, what do you want your employees to do? Do you want them to like save 2 hours a day and just go have a nap, or, be happy at work? Or you want them to invest this time in some other like projects or initiatives that would bring revenue to the company? So I think that's also, when we talk about future of work, how employees imagine this. So I'm going to write this analysis email with ChatGPT. I'm going to save time, and I'm going for a coffee, and I'm straight away to, other things. I think this is also a mindset that employees have to maybe learn, or I'm not sure if the company has to like inject into them, but yeah.
I think when you're doing that, you would be as productive as before, so you won't see any productivity gains. So everybody else who's not doing that and just like don't go for the coffee but just keep working, you will be outpaced by them. So
yes,
I mean, with all the different tech that is coming up that tells us that work will be easier, we see that it's mainly a productivity gain. It's not a gain of freedom. We saw that with automation, we saw that with robotics, and the most of the productivity gains will flow back into the capital market. And I think that is something that we underestimate. So you ask me, what do you do with the time that you gained by using those agents? You will do more work, or your company will cut costs and do that. So I think that is a harsh truth that we're going to face. I mean, you see that with the junior developer job. Almost no one is like publishing junior developer jobs, because every junior developer working with multiple agents or with an agentic network in the background will be at least a mid-level developer, at least.
Right.
So there won't be any junior developers.
That's quite interesting, and if I can share, just because I studied for a programmer before, and I kind of learned to code on Python, but it was like, no, I wouldn't say like basic. I could build a website, but it would take me like 5 or 6 months to do it. So I was not really like aimed for freelancing or something, but I just wanted to experience what it's like. So then when I was doing this, I don't think that maybe ChatGPT existed, but not to that extent. So I think that everything that I have been doing, like researching in Google, in websites, in forums, what people were, how they were solving the issues, how they were doing this and that, what code, that if ChatGPT could do everything, maybe I would cut this 6 months to maybe 2 or 3 months. So it's quiet when you just do like you go back in time and you see how much time you spend on things that you could actually save time. It's a bit
And you also see that with the decline in contributions and decline of clicks on websites like Stack Overflow. You see it peak somewhere right before ChatGPT was launched, and then you see a steady decline. And then you had something like Microsoft Copilot, GitHub Copilot, all the different coding tools that makes it really, really easy to be very, very productive. But all of that is like on a very personal level. All of that optimization is on a very personal level. And something that I would like to see, and something that I would also like to see from Businessmap is you guys are awesome in visualizing the business and the business processes and the different handovers between different teams and departments. So that is something that you guys are really capable of doing, or at least that is something that I use your tool for. And what I would like to see is to have all the different data that is like on the team, on the personal level, on the team, but also within those teams. So when you see a company as a chain of events, starting with a client request and ending with a client sending you money in exchange for goods or services, most of the time you have the organizational issues and struggles between the different teams when you talk about handovers, when we talk about waiting time dependencies. So that is something that really slows down. And none of the people that are working like for themselves and use AI for on their personal work items are really aware that about the potential that once you gather all of that data, you would have a mid-level management AI chatbot that really knows how to fix things, that really knows like, oh, so we have this dependency between marketing and sales on a like big client B2B project where we need to do a lot of customization. Maybe we should use like a cross-functional team. Or we have like a unlimited WIP column in the handover section between development and testing. Maybe we should introduce a WIP limit, or maybe we should form a cross-functional team, or maybe we should talk more about policies that we have and the mutual quality level that we need to assure. And to have like a chatbot replacing middle manager, and that is maybe my weird fantasy of how organizations could look like. But I think of something intelligent that has all of the flow metrics and data within an organization,
right,
to be able to optimize that organization, optimize it for flow. And we see that with ERP systems like SAP, the company that gathers all of the data of all the resources in, let's say, a production facility, is already able to give you hints on where to optimize your company, like the factory side at least.
Yes, that's actually quite interesting fantasy, as you call it. I think it's quite possible. Actually, in Businessmap, we are working hard on developing AI features, as we see this is actually where the world is going, and companies, clients, they need this, they want this, be it what you're saying, replacing middle management. And on that note, do you think that AI would be capable of taking a decision by itself, like, for example, make a cross team, or I don't know, just prioritize your backlog in this way, or it would be good just doing a suggestion and then the people are the ones who take a decision? Do you think we can rely on it for making a decision independently?
I think both is true. So you will have someone in the center, like overviewing what the AI is doing, but you will also have an AI making decisions. So if you follow the latest operator that OpenAI put out, the way they're doing is with human reinforced learning. So that is reinforced learning is that an AI is doing stuff and it has a correction unit that gives them feedback, positive or negative, based on the output of the AI. Human reinforced learning is you have that, but you also have like a reasoning check of a human being behind it. So, I mean, it's my weird fantasy to replace middle management with AI. So every human being is able to work on product and serving community, people, companies it's a fantasy. It's super futuristic. It's up in the stars. But having a middle manager, having him or her equipped with AI agents and the data from the company, and then having a broader leadership span within the company, and having that position for the reasoning checks and reinforcing the company's own AI, like the management AI, is something that I could really think of. But that is also maybe a little bit into the future, not that far away.
Maybe.
For now, we're very much in the state of everyone needs to be trained and get some training and to learn how to use it, because we see the early adopters who like to play around. Like my podcast, I'm hosting the Stellar Work podcast. I can just edit it with like 3 clicks. And I need to do that because I'm running it on the side of having a baby and having a full-time job at a consultancy company. So I need to be very efficient with that. But there are also like people who are not interested in it. And there needs to be a low entry barrier, easy way of learning how to do little baby steps. And I think that's where we are at the moment. And I also see that with training requests. And one thing that really stands out is just yesterday, I was talking to a small AI startup that I mentor from the Association of Business Engineers in Germany. And what they're telling me is they will produce a company-specific AI with different models, train it based on their data. But they are telling me that most of the time, they need to do trainings. So they need to offer a training, they need to give a talk. It's a lot of prep work until you get a company to really put money into that. So most of the time it's like really educating people. And the easiest way, at least what they've told me, is by using features that tools provide. So not creating your own stuff, but like having an Outlook AI feature that helps you spell check your emails. Super low entry barrier. Outlook is already there. You just need to click a button. And when we look at how Microsoft designs the AI experience, so to say, it's very much in your face. It's like they're spoon feeding you the AI features in order to use them.
They are, yes, definitely, everywhere. But what, in your experience, what would be some maybe common mistakes that companies do, or you have experienced with implementing AI tools? Do you think that, so let's just position it this way. For the company, it needs to have a certain level of steady workflow or a maturity level that they have achieved to start doing AI or implementing AI into their work. And if that's not a criteria, what would be the minimum criteria to start taking those baby steps, and what mistakes to avoid, in your opinion?
So I think it falls or wins with the data you're feeding into the AI. So even if you have like an SAP running and you use the AI features in SAP, if your SAP is like full of dirty data that you really can't use for that, you will get like bullshit in, bullshit out. Also, there are some companies that we saw this with DeepSeek, where they learned from another AI. So you have like a second generation of an AI, you have what we call a Habsburger problem, which is that sort of famous German aristocrats who bred just within their family
Okay.
and therefore
Okay.
had all the different health issues overall. And you will see that with AI as well. So if you feed an AI the output of another AI, it will get worse with each generation that you populate. So it's really the data, and you need to know where it's coming from, and it has to have the right quality, or you will get very bad outcome. And one case that was very prominent in news, it's kind of old now, but I really it really describes the issue very well, is at Amazon. Amazon tried to pre-screen CVs that they get in for their job offers with an AI. They trained it based on past decisions they have made as human beings, like deciding on the different CVs. And based upon that training, they reinforced it. And the outcome was that they more than often declined very good CVs from women or people of color or people with a different minority background, because that's what they have been doing in the past manually.
Right. Oh, God.
Right? So, and that's not to blame Amazon full,
Yes.
but there was a time when the world wasn't as woke as it is now. So learning from that old data, which came out of another culture or another cultural time, is probably not very appropriate. And that is also something, like, if we look into the future of problems that could arise, is that most of the data will be generated, and data that is handwritten, data that is unique, that has like a unique quality to it or unique information to it, will be very rare, because everyone is sourcing the net for data right now. So there's a finite pool of things you can learn from, and very little gets contributed to that pool, because most of the things that are contributed on, that are shared on the net, are AI generated content. That is where things will go. So you have, like, you could say that organic data is the new fossil fuels of the AI economy, if you will, because we're going to run out of it.
Yes, that's a quite interesting take, actually. And I personally, because you mentioned DeepSeek, I didn't get the hype, to be honest. Maybe I was not experimenting enough, because I know that everything is on basis of experiment, and I think I mostly use ChatGPT, and I am experimenting with a lot of other AI tools, but nothing super complicated. So I think that you would have maybe more experience on a more like complicated set of steps on how, like the case that you mentioned beforehand. So yeah, I really didn't get the hype, and it is true. I think that is kind of recycling data, AI.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
normally you would put in like a set of data in order to train it, but they will call the API of OpenAI
Okay.
and learn from their outcome. So you would use the big AI as a trainer, as a mentor for the smaller AI. So
Okay.
that's why it's more efficient, because it learns from what is been called very often on the other AI. And the hype is like, there are like three different things. One is, how did they do it with so little compute? Because they couldn't really get their hands on the H100 racks from NVIDIA. But actually they could. So they're just maybe not telling the true numbers. So that was one hype. But despite all of that, it's just the sheer price tag. It's super cheap because of what we just discussed, what you also mentioned, that it's like learned from another AI, that it's taken the information from there, which leaves a whole big question whether, hey, can you steal the data from another robbery, right? Because like OpenAI is scraping the data illegally from somewhere, allegedly, And now DeepSeek is stealing the stolen data as well and selling it you for cheap, which is super interesting to me. It's like a Robin Hood movie where every character is right and wrong at the same time. And then the third topic is like, if China did DeepSeek on such a small budget, what does that mean for Europe? Because there are a lot of memes that Europe is falling behind on the AI race. And I think that China made a really good point that it's not too late. You can learn from different models out there, from huge models out there. You can like create smaller agents for very specific tasks for only a fraction of the cost that it took for OpenAI to put out the big models.
Okay, so maybe yes, in that aspect, it is helpful. I just haven't thought from that aspect. So basically, you were saying that it's lacking even 1 ounce of creativity. I mean, the AI model is just recycling another model data and taking from there. Okay. Yes, I just, maybe hope. I'm not sure if people are also going to start lacking creativity by using. I'm just not sure where the limit is. When you start creating something for your work or personal life, doesn't matter, and you just delegate this to an AI, are you just restricting yourself from being creative, or you should just maybe delegate the repetitive tasks that are like really tedious and no one wants to do this? So it's maybe also a morale question, I think. So
what
that's
do you think?
quite interesting.
What do you think is creativity in itself?
In itself, creativity is just maybe combining your experience with your, as you use that word, fantasies, and you try to convey to the world in the most like interesting, the most colorful way that you're capable of doing this. So yes, I hope that AI won't actually restrain us from being creative at work, at our personal lives. It just depends how we're using it, and maybe what we should think of, what skills one should develop for, if we're talking of the future of teams or the future employees. What are the most important skills you think they must have in this environment to survive or to do their work as they're supposed to?
I'm not even sure if I would call it a skill.
Yeah.
But I would say with 2023, we saw it like Mark Zuckerberg announced a year of efficiency, right? And now we have all the savings from those companies and the capital expenditures that they had with buying all of the compute from the hyperscalers. And I feel that now we're going into like 2025. That could maybe be the year of productivity, where who am I to tell you what skill you need to have?
Right.
Try to find that skill you need in order to gain like a 2 or 3x productivity. I think that is possible. Maybe not for every task, but like find a small set of tasks that you do where you can like quadruple your productivity. And maybe start with just using the features that your tool provider gives you and try to see if that works. You don't have to like call an API, write yourself something, or use it as everyone is becoming a developer kind of shit. It's just try to find a small thing and try to automate it for yourself, and maybe try to use the tools that you're already having. Most of the tool providers have an AI on board, and just see what they're capable of, and maybe switch tools if they don't. So I was having a recording, like a virtual recording studio for my podcast. And I first started with another variant of studio because I like the way it looks and I like the people working there. And then I saw Riverside, which had those AI features. And in terms of editing, in terms of improving audio quality, before I needed to spend hours at night doing it. Now it's just 2 clicks. So that is like a small task that I need to do very often.
Yes.
And an AI feature that helps me do my work way faster, way faster. And it sounds ridiculous. Like even when I hear myself talking about like quadruple your performance, bro, this is going to be the year of productivity. But when I look back, we had like maybe 3 hours for writing an offer in business development. Now it's just 2 clicks. A couple of hours for editing a podcast. Now it's just 2 or 3 clicks. It sounds crazy, but once you dig into the different tool sets and equip yourself with your agents around you that you work with, it's really bananas how productivity grows.
Right. Yes. So that's I like this. I like this insight because it's maybe not up to skills, but how you see things and how you develop yourself. Just how open you are to trying those new things because you were using Quanto, and instead of just sticking to it because you like it and you know it, you decided to try out, and now you're saving so much time with it. So and I don't think that companies should maybe allocate a lot of budget for training, for training their employees on AI. Again, I guess it depends on the industry, but it is on the people if they want to adopt this way of work. I think because it is maybe that companies are looking for some kind of return on the efforts that they've put, and I don't know if that's going to be an immediate return or it's just the process that everyone is going through. Do you maybe think that okay, so it is a popular, I think, as you said, a lot of people are scared that they will lose their jobs due to AI, and it's been in the air for quite some time now. So, but do you think that there would be entire industries or maybe fields that would disappear? Like type of companies that would just disappear and AI would do what they're doing now?
So what I see is a lot of the media companies, because a lot of the workforce at the media companies are like editing pictures, videos, video graphics, and a lot of that can be done with AI in the future. And it's so weird to see like the creative jobs getting
disappear.
Getting slashed by the AI. We all thought it's going to be the factory worker that gets replaced by the robot. It's going to be the storage worker at the Amazon warehouse that gets replaced by the robot. But then it's like the graphic designer who gets replaced. It's a copywriter who gets replaced. It's all the white collar, like ThoughtWorks type of jobs that get replaced. So that is a weird thing that is happening. Actually, we all thought it's quite different. I'm wondering, like at Businessmap, the AI features that you're working on or that you already implemented, can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. So we have an AI coach and AI assistant. So the AI coach, it's giving you, for example, a cycle time for a certain column or workflow that you're working in. So that is again saving time against going and generating a report yourself. And the other thing is that we are very much investing on, developing prompts for AI, for example, for again generating content such as emails, such as subtasks or tasks, such as summaries and writing articles, etc. So it's again this type um, of generative, I think, AI that it's implemented into, but also we are counting on analysis from AI, which is exactly this for the cycle time and throughput that it's counting for you. So there is still a lot to develop, and we are really dedicating a lot of efforts on this. Yeah, you just have to you have to test it out, maybe see what kind of companies clients could use this. I think it's really like broad, and our main purpose is to have this in one tool. Like for example, we also, it is not an AI functionality, I wouldn't call it, but for example, a whiteboard that we didn't have before. So a lot of companies, what they're doing, they open Businessmap, then they open Miro, then they open some other tool to generate their emails and articles. So we kind of try to combine everything into one place, and now users have everything in this in the product. So they have their whiteboard. There is a two-way update integration between the whiteboard and the actual board in Businessmap. And then with the AI, you can just generate a report, send it to the CEO, and write a newsletter for the entire company on your achievements, and that's it. You can achieve it in a really short time. But yes,
Can I make a wish for
yes.
a business map feature?
Yes, of course.
Since it's just the two of us,
Yes.
like something that I would love to see, because it's a lot of admin work to be done when you set up whatever tool that you use. I would like to have like a bar where I can just prompt in, like, put in these policies, make a pop-up when blah 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 happens, add another column, add another swim lane, put look at the cycle time distribution and find the different patterns of work and assign those estimated cycle times to the different tickets in our backlog.
Okay.
Find dependencies or connect like two boards together, maybe that we connect with very often, and try to merge. Give suggestions which teams maybe to merge together.
Okay.
Those things like would be super cool to have, because then I could just prompt my board or prompt the network of teams that are using Businessmap, and that would be really, really cool to not have to dig into the different menus and how to set everything up, but just tell them like, hey, I want another swim lane, and then it's just boom, you have another swim lane. And maybe it asks you, hey, what type of work you want to put into that swim lane, what type of capacity you think you would like to allocate to that type of work. And it would just like talk with you, and in the background generate like the system, the work system that you're operating in. That would be bananas cool.
It sounds amazing, to be honest. No, definitely, it's I think a great suggestion, great idea, and most of our features, most of our enhancements, I would say, are exactly built on feedback from partners, clients. So we are listening to what you're saying. I like the idea. So in the next few months, maybe.
Yeah,
it will be
don't
happening.
worry.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how much time the development of this takes, but
the way I described it, probably forever.
Really? Okay, yeah.
But yeah,
That
that
yeah,
would be something that
it
would at
is.
least make my life a little bit easier working with clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I can just talk to their tool and get everything out of it. But yeah, I can totally understand that it's a bit
No, it's a good
far-fetched.
idea. I think it's amazing, to be honest. So I see what I can do. Yes, and for AI, we've heard a lot of different takes that it's going to eliminate jobs, companies. I've also heard that it's going to eliminate, for example, software as a service, as a type of company that exists. But I think it's just a lot of speculations, a lot of conspiracy going on around the development of AI. Um, so it's even if it develops to this extent, it would not be in the next decade, I think.
Yeah, I think most of the time we're underestimating how slow those changes are, because all those prototypes, all those early adopters are jumping in really fast. And we saw that with other technologies. They really take some time to penetrate the market
Yes,
and to really see the mass productivity gains behind it.
right, right. Yes, I agree. It's a slow process. So what when you're working with what is the main like industry that you're working with at the moment?
So it's really widely spread. So
Widely.
in the very short past, I was working with automotive companies.
Okay.
It just happens to be that I'm a car guy, and even though the automotive industry, at least here in Germany, is
It's big.
dying or
Oh, it's
is
dying?
unaware that
Okay.
they're dead already,
Okay, I didn't know this
um,
actually.
there is a lot of transformation work to do and a lot of hard pills to swallow, so to say. So they put in a lot of transformation effort, and the way I look at it is that it's not going to be a big bang. It's going to see where they fall short and fix those specific things, and not a we need to have like in-car services that you could buy, and we're going to make a lot of money off the subscription because then we get like a SaaS business evaluation. I don't think that is going to happen. I think it's becoming a better car company and serving the market better and really finding your niche. You're not going to be, we're producing cars for everyone and robo-taxis and share networks. No, it's probably you will have specific cars for specific services, and that would mean that those companies would need to shrink according to their actual market size. Because right now, at least Volkswagen is serving a big market all around the planet, but the way I see it is they've lost a huge chunk of market share and they're not recognizing it properly. So that's where I do analysis, that's where I do transformation with the latest project with Ford, where we streamlined the CX organizations all over Europe. That was sort of my turf where I do things.
Okay, and in your work with those companies, be it automotive or other type of field, what are your, let's say, top 3 of favorite tools that you're using right now and that you will continue maybe using in the future?
So one tool that I really like is Kate Hub. It's also from Bulgaria. It's made with Bosch Bulgaria, which is a tool to measure knowledge discovery efficiency. So you're basically measuring a type of performance, but not really. It like gives you a score of how efficient you're generating knowledge on a range from 1 to 100. And depending on your industry, depending on your company, product, business life cycle, like you name it, you want to score with a high or very low efficiency. So if you're like a tech startup trying to find the next big thing, you probably, efficiency is something that is a red flag because if it's efficient, then it's not very, very new. It's not very cutting edge, so to say. And if you're an insurance company, you want to have very efficient processes because the insurance game is pretty much done. It's like at the end of the product life cycle. Yeah, it's
Right?
set. So you want to have like a
Okay.
high efficiency number. So that's why I like this tool. It analyzes different Git repositories for that and creates a coefficient and gives you a cool dashboard. So that is something that I would set up in order to have like past data that I could like hold my consultancy and advisory work against it. So if we see something improve, we could like look back and see like, are we becoming more efficient? Are we becoming, do we get the indication that we move closer to the relevant technological edge that we're trying to get? And that is really cool. Another tool that I use during my work that makes it easier is, of course, Businessmap. This sounds like promotion, but it's actually true because it's like the only widely available Kanban tool where you get support and all the different features, and that is working very closely within the Kanban community. And me being a Kanban trainer and mostly concerned about flow, the main thing that I use it for is like connecting different teams and departments together in order to make handovers easier, in order to get those infinite backlog columns between different teams down to something that creates a more flow within the organization. And I tried a bunch of stuff, and you always encounter Microsoft Planner, stickies on the wall, Jira. But even for Jira, even for all the Atlassian tools, they're not very much into the different communities. They are in their own turf, and that's what I like about you guys. You interact, you reach out, you go to the conferences where things happen, you go and talk to those thought leaders that created all of that good stuff. And so you're very much at like, I could give a Kanban training, I could give a training on flow efficiency, and if those people would decide to go with a tool or they need different infrastructure, they can just approach you, and they will not be surprised by different wording, different definitions of stuff. So it will be very familiar, and that's what I like that you're doing. That you're doing that, and you're engaging within the community, and that really helps.
Yes, it does help. I think it's super important to be, whatever you do, you're a consultant, a Kanban trainer, whatever you do, you need to engage with the community and just not be on your own, like digging your own lane and just staying there. It is very important.
Yeah. And it's getting harder the bigger the companies are. Like Atlassian will not reach out because they have their own community. They have their own echo chamber where they get their feature requests. And I mean, it's all good, but if no one in that community is like doing the proper research behind it, if no one in the community, if there's like no David Anderson, just to name one, then you're probably just like becoming a feature factory, which at least the Jira team looks like to me.
Yes, but they're a huge company, and
it's harder for a big company.
Yes, it's more difficult for a big company. Okay, and what would be in your role of everything that you're doing? So you are you work with companies, you are an analyst for them, you're a trainer, a coach, and you have your own podcast. So you do a lot of work on a lot of fronts. And since we're speaking for AI, what would be your best advice to give to the people that you work with and to yourself when it comes to AI? What would be this?
It sounds super easy and very vanilla, but start small and find something that you can prove beyond your expectations. You don't have to change the whole company, and you're not going to convince 20 of your colleagues to use your awesome tool that you just found on the net. That is not going to happen. But if you take just one bit out of your work and you do it so efficient and gain so much productivity gains out of it that your colleagues will go like, whoa, what is he or she doing? That's awesome. So you should not teach, but maybe start small and just go beyond the expectations and over deliver and inspire others to do so as well. And maybe you could form a small community afterwards, but start to preach to everyone who's not listening is probably the wrong way.
It wouldn't make sense, right?
So start small and over deliver on one thing.
Okay, this is a great piece of advice, actually. Thank you for this. I'm personally going to use it also in my work, and I think in life as well. It goes the same, right? Work and life. We should have the same principles, I think, be it just regular work, using AI, working with people, communities. Yeah, it's
100%.
good to have. Yes.
Well, maybe not on the leisure side of things. Like all of that productivity on the private side, I fear that sometimes just enjoying things and just maybe doing nothing is kind of great, but it's actually really bad for companies.
Yes.
And I feel that, well, you could argue that maybe do it conscious, like doing nothing is not doing nothing, it's serving a purpose. The purpose is relaxation. But thinking all of those steps through will move that relaxation just in a thing on a to-do list, and at least that's not working for me. Like I can't just check box enjoying time with my kid, right?
Yes.
I need to completely switch off my brain and just purely be in that moment. So I think you're right, but when it comes to all of that joyfulness, that is something that we probably should not measure or analyze too much.
Measure. Yes, you're right. Yes, I agree. Thank you for that. So maybe one last thing for today is for the future of work, of teams and companies with AI. Are you positive? Mostly positive, or mostly maybe negative about how things are going to go? What do you think? What is the main direction from here on in the future?
Tough. Like on one side, I fear that productivity gains will flow into the capital market. Companies will become more efficient. They will employ less people. And that will lead to less jobs, which is unfortunate. And I don't think that stock returns is the main thing that we should focus on, but productivity gains usually feed into that. So that is negative. On the positive side is starting your own company was never easier. You don't have to be a programmer to do a website. You don't even have to be a designer to click all of that together. That is something an AI could do for you. It's not going to replace the designer by any means. A great design from a human being will be better than the one out of the vending machine. But it's never been easier to start a company and form a team. Even if you have no friends and family to work with, you could just hire a bunch of AI agents to do the work with you.
Right.
Yeah. So wow. that is the upside. I really hope that if we try to decentralize entrepreneurship with AI, and everyone can, not everyone should, but it's just easier to start a company. Everyone is more focused on doing what they actually want, and that is something that I would see very positively. Because even in those huge corporations, when you go into them, a huge percentage of people is there because they need to pay rent, and that is fair. That is a good reason to be there. But I think with all the different opportunities and all the different tech that we have out there, there is a good chance that you could pay your rent and do something you like.
That sounds like a great future.
I hope so.
Actually, but
I could
yes,
I could be wrong as well, and singularity will crush humanity, so we're going to be ruled by robots.
Oh my God, I hope not.
I hope not as well.
But
All
yes,
right.
I totally agree that it would not be able to. Yes, it's easy to start your own business right now and do your website, design and everything, logos. But it would not be able to replace common sense, which is something very important for when you're working with people in different sectors. It doesn't matter.
Let's just call it sales. Like if you're not a product-led growth company, if you're like a sales-led company, no AI agent will take your clients' C-level management out for dinner. Like that is not going to happen, right?
Exactly.
So I said it's easy to start a company. Selling stuff will probably still be hard.
Yes, it's just the level of communication that you can achieve as a human being. It's different. Okay, Ben, well, thank you very much for your insights. It was quite interesting for me. I personally learned a lot of new things, and it was a pleasure speaking to you
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Of course.
Thank you.